What's up, YouTube? What's up, man? Welcome back to D's Corner. I'm your host, D. Today's video, man, I'm gonna talk about Shedeur Sanders. Finally drafted. Still working on my draft grades and everything, but Shedeur Sanders and the topic of him being drafted, where he got drafted, how he slid, and all that keeps coming up. So I want to touch on that today. Shedeur, regardless of what you think about him, what you think about his dad, anything like that, strictly on the field, Shedeur should not have been a fifth round pick. I don't care what anyone says. The guy, you could say he holds on to the ball too long. He doesn't have elite arm talent. He's not an elite athlete. You can have all of these issues with him and his game. By all means, that's fine. At the end of the day, what he's able to do is very vital. And if you believe in that, you can build a team around him. He's always calm under pressure. He makes the right decision. He is tough. He's going to stand in the pocket, stand down the barrel, stare down the barrel, and he's going to put the ball where he needs to put it. He's consistent and he's accurate. Yes, the quarterback position is changing. You do need an athlete and this and that, but that does not mean that play calling is gone of the pocket passer. That a pocket passer cannot win you football games. If you put this guy in with the right talent around him, just like Tua in Alabama, he will be able to be a point guard for your team. It was bothering me a lot. Um, Jack Obrick's, the coach for the Falcons, his son. Everyone kept talking about him being a kid. He's 21. He's grown. Playing that prank on, and it wasn't just Shedeur. It was other prospects as well. That's some BS in my opinion. But when we're talking about Shedeur, everything got blown out of proportion, and now they're talking about the Giants say he was first on their board. If he was first on your board, then come out and say exactly why you felt he wasn't prepared. He wasn't prepared in our interview because X, Y, and Z. Not just he wasn't prepared. Anonymous quotes about him having the worst interviews and this and that. Now, even the entitlement comments. What's entitled? What was the entitled things? Was Shedeur in your meeting saying, like we saw him say at the combine, if you want to change your franchise, draft me. I'm built for this. This is what has been implemented or installed in him from the time he started playing football from his dad. Like anybody, like any other prospect who has a parent who is literally on them to ensure that they're successful, especially if it's in a sport. Maybe he was in there not being. I don't feel like he was in there being disrespectful. I don't feel like he was being in there being anything like the stories are about how Dion was when it was his go around when he was at the combine and he was talking to teams and whatnot. Now, do you have an issue with everything that comes around him? Everyone was saying yes. These owners were like, "Oh, he has so much this, so much that, so much." What off the field baggage does this man have? I'm not trying to throw shade on any other prospect, but there was a prospect taken in the second round who had an essay case against him his senior year in high school and then the very next year in college. There's another prospect who he didn't even get drafted because he had an essay charge. But those are off the field issues. Tyler Shuck got drafted by the Saints. He has injury concerns. His age was an issue. Everyone when they were comparing Shedeur and Jackson Dart, oh, Jackson Dart's bigger. Shedeur's bigger than Dillon Gabriel, and Dillon Gabriel was drafted before him. By all means, if Shedeur's not your cup of tea, that's fine. But I was watching Michael Irvin on his podcast and a lot of the other players as well. Everyone thinks that, oh, well, this is still a good situation for Shedeur because they don't have necessarily a quarterback of the future. It's not necessarily a good situation, especially when you think and remember how the Browns general manager looked, the coach looked when Shedeur was drafted. They did not look happy. The owner looked like, I'm telling y'all to make this happen. Y'all are going to do it. So if these guys already don't want him, and I've read today that they didn't even have him high on their big board, if they're not high on him, why would you draft him? If you did not want him, why'd you draft him? And if the owner is the one making this pick, how does Shedeur and the reps work out? Because in camp, Joe Flacco is the starter. He'll get majority of the snaps unless he sits because of his age. But you're invested in Kenny Pickett, a former first round pick who you drafted. You drafted Dylan Gabriel in the third. They're going to get most of the reps. Shedeur might get a few reps, and what if they're all handoffs? Like how is this opportunity, or is this opportunity a true opportunity, or was this a situation where the owner made this pick? The general manager and the coach don't want to play him. The general manager and the coach don't want to get to know him. The general manager and the coach aren't excited about working with him, even in their press conference. I wouldn't call this a blockbuster. Who says I will understand that if you feel like Shedeur was handed everything because his dad was his coach and all that. By all means, I got it. But even if you watched some of the stuff with Coach Prime has no problem setting his own boys down. He's kicked Shiloh out of a meeting for coming in late. He treats the boys like he treats them as a part of the team. He does not treat them differently. The thing about this is, if you have an issue with Coach Prime, by all means, have your issue with him. Shedeur didn't deserve to be in the fifth, but that's where he went. Now, will he truly get a true opportunity? Again, let me reference the Michael Irvin thing I was talking about. Saw Michael Irvin talking. He brought up he's connected with the NFL. He brought up that he felt that it was a situation in which all 32 teams were proving a point, not just to Shedeur, but to Dion. You're not going to tell us, and I can agree that Prime probably overplayed his hand by saying there's some teams that we're not going to go. I'm not going to let him go to. Eli and Arch did something similar, but they just told the Chargers on draft night, we're not doing this. The Chargers drafted him. He still went up there, held the jersey, didn't do really, did the little Eli smile or whatever. But it's a similar situation, but there's some major differences as well. Okay, Shedeur might not be the most talented quarterback in this draft class, but you cannot tell me the things that he does on the football field, that things that he did on the football field in college don't translate to the NFL. He's more durable than Tua. He's bigger than Tua, and he's bigger than Brock Purdy. He can do everything that both of them men can do. A lot of people have compared him to Kirk Cousins. Prior to this Achilles, Kirk Cousins had a hell of a career. Now, if Shedeur was going to the situation where he had the right personnel around and the right play caller, then yes, of course he would be able to have a solid career. I'm just concerned, and I hope that the draft was the only mesh of this, or the only. I hope it wasn't just the beginning. I hope that they aren't pretty much setting this man up to be released, to be cut, to not even make the team. Because that's the first thing he's going to have to do. The first thing, he's got to make the roster, period. He cannot do anything until he makes the roster. How's he going to make the roster with very minimal reps? Then not only that, now you have 5 quarterbacks. Deshaun Watson's injured, Joe Flacco, Kenny Pickett, Dylan Gabriel, now Shedeur Sanders. What is this team going to look like? There's a lot of teams who could have used this man's services. I hope the Browns truly give him an opportunity. I hope he's able to take advantage of the opportunity. If he goes out there and he doesn't play well, he doesn't play well. But let's not act like he wasn't worthy of being drafted earlier, that his production on the field didn't warrant an earlier draft selection. But at the same time, it is what it is. If they don't want him, they didn't want him. I don't think the Browns wanted him. To the point where I just saw recently one of the CFL teams has added Shedeur's name to their negotiation table. So if he doesn't make this team, I guess he'll have an opportunity to play in Canada. A lot of the draft pundits were even considering and thinking. I even was texting with my homeboys telling him, I don't know if he'll get drafted. After he slid out of the first, okay, he should have gone the second or third. I don't think Shedeur was necessarily a first-round pick or a first-round talent. However, with him playing the most important position, the quarterback position, those positions always get moved up. Cam Ward was not the best player in this draft. He played the most important position, and he was the best prospect at his position. So many other former scouts, former players, draft pundits, and everyone in between had Shedeur as your top 2 or 3 quarterback. For him to slide and to have no true reasoning, it's crazy, because you even had on draft day, no matter where you watch the draft, on ESPN or on NFL Network, Everybody was baffled. Nobody thought he would slide and go on the third day. Many thought he would go with the Browns would pick him up with the first pick of the second draft. The Browns still had a hell of a draft. They still were able to maneuver very well for themselves. But in that maneuvering, Shedeur, if given the true opportunity and he takes full advantage of it, the Browns will look like geniuses. If not, Shedeur is going to be thrown out. They have 2 first-round picks next year, and it should be a deeper, better quarterback class. So they'll be quarterback hunting next year because this team, let's be honest, it doesn't look like it's going to be a playoff team. This is a tough division. This is an extremely tough division, and right now you have 5 quarterbacks. I'm expecting Joe Flacco to start and be the leader of the team. I don't even know if Shedeur will truly get an opportunity to compete with Dillon Gabriel or Kenny Pickett because the Browns selected Gabriel in the third. The GM, the coach, they really wanted Gabriel. They felt like he is a Russell Wilson. He has some Russell Wilson to his game. Able to throw on the run, get out of the pocket. He is small. He doesn't see the middle of the field as well as Shedeur. Maybe he has a little bit stronger arm. Maybe not. Maybe their arm strength is similar. But for everybody to literally go at Shedeur, the person, the player, or the person instead of the player, instead of just it strictly being about his game, that's some BS, man. Because how are you going to sit here and try to make it seem like this kid who has never been in trouble? Yes, he has a family. He has a following. He has an entourage. Travis Hunter vlogged his experience going to the Jags. Travis Hunter's put his family on contract. So what? That's his family. Shedeur's not running around with a bunch of gangbangers. He's not running around in the streets. He's not doing anything that's getting him in trouble or bringing a negative look to his family, his college, when he won't do it for the Cleveland Browns or whatever organization he does end up with. The personal attacks on Shedeur were unfair, and I feel like that's when it comes to any and every player. Any and every player. It's not just a Shedeur thing. But there is underlining issues, and I don't necessarily think it's race, but there are race differences, of course. Yes, Johnny Manziel was an actual problem. He was still a first-round pick. I know people are going to say, yeah, but he was the Heisman winner. Nothing he did in college translated to the NFL. You don't sit and run around. Tebow, a great college player. No one thought he was going to be a NFL quarterback. He was able to be a first-round pick. He was more of an H-back. Everybody thought that when he came out, he was not a good quarterback prospect. Throwing motion and everything. Lamar Jackson. Everyone said he should have played a different position, and he balled the hell out in college. I thought the Steelers would be a good place for Shedeur because I felt like the Steelers are a place, an organization that allows you to be you. The fact that there were so many quarterback needy teams, the value of the quarterback position, and where Shedeur slid and continued to slide, that's why so many people feel that there was some type of underlying issue more than them just saying he had a bad meeting or he carried himself entitled or he was brash or he was arrogant or he was this and that. It's always something else. When you showed Tom Brady chewing players out on the sideline and stuff like that, he was fired up. You can't find a video of Shedeur doing that. So now does he not have the passion for the game? There's always 2 ways that the narrative, especially through the media, gets turned, gets explained, gets portrayed. But actually watching the draft, knowing football, knowing the draft prospects, Shedeur was not a 5th-round talent. He may not have been a 1st-round talent, but he should not have slid to the 3rd day, 144th pick. We'll see if the Browns truly give him an opportunity. We'll see if the organization can truly rally. I think he fits Stefanski's offense perfectly. I actually think Dillon Gabriel fits the offense pretty well as well. Will Shedeur be able to even see the field? Will he be able to even see and get to I know there was Mike Tannenbaum on first ESPN or First Take today. He said he thought that Shedeur would be the week one starter. There's no way he's going to be the week one starter. Will he be on the team? Will he be on the team? Will he get enough reps during the summertime? Everything is now condensed. They don't have a lot of contact practices. They don't have a lot of padded practices. He's not going to get a lot of opportunities. His opportunities may just be handoffs. His opportunities may just be screens. His opportunities aren't going to be a true opportunity for him to showcase his ability. But to be honest with you, I think that it's going to have to start coming off the field. Everyone was upset because the man said he has a hashtag legendary. That's his brand. So what? All these kids are going to be coming into the NFL, into the NBA, into all of these professional leagues, especially with this NIL era. They're gonna have money. They're coming in with money. They're gonna come in with a little bit more say. This is not the old days in which the product is the players and they're like Walmart and the NFL is like Walmart. The product now is going to talk. The product now understands its worth. You got quarterbacks making $300 million, and they said Shedeur took a 35 or $40 million pay hit from where he could have been drafted to where he got drafted. I don't think him or his family is really hurting for money. They just needed the opportunity. One thing I do want to touch on though is Shiloh, his big brother. Shiloh held it down. Shiloh had to have had his own personal feelings about his little brother, but also about him because he was also in this draft. Shiloh was able to make light of the situation. He laughed. He made Shedeur feel comfortable. He made his dad feel comfortable. And he celebrated quick, fast, and in a hurry when Shedeur was drafted. I hope this man gets an opportunity. I hope he's able to show that he can stand on his own. He doesn't need his dad. I hope he's able to show that he's truly bred for this and he was built for this and he's prepared for this. Come in, get your head down, show them the work that they didn't see. They see all the outwardness, they see all the talk, they see the production, they see all of that. Show them the work. Show them how you work. Show them how you focus. Show them what you know. Get in there and learn the playbook. Hopefully you're truly allowed to battle. If you and Dylan Gabriel are able to truly have a competition with Kenny Pickett, it's only going to make that quarterback room better, that Cleveland Browns better, and ultimately that fan base is going to be happy as I'll get out, especially if they're able to get a winning quarterback out there. They've had 40 quarterbacks in 4 years, it seems like. But let's stop trying to bash this kid with being Shedeur for the things that he has. Let's not act like there were players before. John Elway said, "I'm going to play baseball. I'm not going to Baltimore. I'm not going to the Baltimore Colts." We just talked about Eli. Eli's not the biggest athlete. Eli wasn't running a 4.2. Eli wasn't doing all this and doing all that. Eli didn't have the strongest arm. Hell, Peyton didn't have the strongest arm. They were talking about Peyton. He needed to play indoors. Shedeur, everything that Shedeur does on the football field translates to the NFL. All of his miscues on the football field are coachable things. For you as a $1 billion organization to say or allow the narrative is we didn't want his dad to have to control everything here. His dad don't run nothing now. Dion was in the NFL. He didn't run his team when he was a player. But he knows what he's talking about, and he's not going to back down. He's not going to hold his tongue, especially if he's right. Especially if it's an honest feeling of what they think and what they feel. I honestly feel like Shedeur and Dion overplayed their hand, and they learned from it. This is what happened. It is what it is. But I just hope again that Shedeur actually gets a true opportunity, and I hope he's able to take full advantage of it. I think Shedeur in the right situation, I think Stefanski could be that. I think Stefanski could be the good coach for him. But the Browns don't have a solid offense. They don't have a ton of weapons. I like what they did with the running backs, Quinshon Judkins and Dylan Sampson from Tennessee. They should be able to be and build around one of these quarterbacks. But those 2 first-round picks next year, there's nothing guaranteed. The NFL is not for long. We'll see if Shedeur is with the Browns for long or not. But again, it's messed up. Happy he still got drafted. Hope he takes full advantage of it. That's it.